तो मैं इसीलिए चलो मैं इसको हॉटस्पॉट लेता हूँ. That is the only. My voice is coming clear now.
Yes, yes, it is. We are live.
And we will be allowed to share any data and all if required.
Please do, please do,
Yeah.
please do.
We'll start the webinar. Yeah. Good evening and welcome to the Hindu webinar. The issue that we are discussing today is not just NEET, but does NTA also need a revamp? We would like to introduce Maitri and me, who are moderating this session, would like to introduce the panelists. We have Dr. Rajiv Jaydevan. He is a former president IMA Kochi. Professor Rajiv Kumar. He is an academic activist, former president. He is Mr. Keshav Agarwal. He is an educationist and a career counselor. Welcome to the show. I'd like to start with Dr. Rajiv. So, what is the specific safeguards that have failed during NEET 2026?
The failures are obviously in the system. We know the saying, the chain breaks at the weakest link. And the longer the chain is, the more weak links will be there. So we have a system where, at least for the NEET undergraduate, a series of paper-based questions, basically old-fashioned pen, pencil, paper kind of questionnaire, given all at once to a very large number of people, around 22 lakh, I understand. For that many documents to be distributed, stored in vaults or wherever that is couriered and sent to exam centers, opened and taken by students, that's a long process, literally, and it's prone to failure at multiple ends. All it requires is just one photograph of this document from some printing press, from somewhere, and that photograph will be worth a lot of money because there's a huge demand for these questions. I'll come to that in a bit. So right from the point of setting questions to the point of the student taking the exam, there are so many places where if someone wants to do something unethical or wrongful, it can easily be done. And that has happened before, and it has happened again now on a large scale. I'm glad in one sense it was detected and firm measures were taken to apprehend those responsible. But I suspect this is not the first time it has been happening. And if we don't change the system, it will happen again. It is not a question of if, it will.
Okay. So, a following question. Does the large number of dropouts, and the coaching institute, do they put pressure on this system? Or how much is the pressure that they put on this system? Is that the weak link, or is that the link which keeps fueling this corruption?
Okay, I'll give you some historical perspective.
Yeah.
Most of the doctors in my circle, including myself, entered the MBBS course, got admission to the MBBS course after taking such exams. So when we took our exams back in our day, it was a test of knowledge, depth of knowledge, the ability to understand a concept, to apply a concept to a problem that's posed to you and come up with a solution within the pressure of time. There was no memorization. I would say less than 5% was memorization. And nobody really even discussed or even thought about the fact that there are leaked questions. It never even crossed our radar that there could be such an entity. So we all worked very hard. And of course, you need to practice and you need to go through the format of the exam. So people who go to coaching centers get familiar with how these questions are asked. For example, if an examination is in an essay format, you got to practice in the essay format. Short answer format, yes, you got to answer in the short answer format. MCQs with positive marking, negative marking, I've seen all sorts. So the point is, coaching centers are increasingly under pressure. You see very large, expensive ads that they are making in front page of
True, true.
newspapers, showing that there's a lot of money in circulation, and with money comes incentive. You want to do better than the next person. Anyone, like the doctor wants, or the candidate wants to do better than the next person to gain admission. The coaching center also has an incentive or has a wish to do better. To some of them do it by selecting brighter candidates. I know that, and others might have other means to achieve this. So it is a system that actually breeds corruption. So if somebody really wants to make illegal money and play with the lives or the careers of these poor candidates, this is a fertile ground for such individuals, as we saw from the news reports, right up to the people who set the questions have been apprehended. So that's a scary situation. Looking for asking, really demanding a total revamp of the entire system.
I'd like to bring in my colleague Maitri here. Maitri and me have been writing, discussing, speaking to various experts on this issue and on this topic. And we've been discussing about the Radhakrishna Committee report and how NTA also needs to be rehauled, revamped. The systems need to be reworked to ensure that not only are they able to scale up, but also ensure that the system remains foolproof. So, Maitri, if you would want to come in.
Thank you. Thank you, Bindu, for that insight and introduction. Thank you, Dr. Rajiv, for setting the ground. And my next obvious choice for a question is Professor Rajiv Kumar, and I'll come to Mr. Keshav after Professor Rajiv Kumar has weighed in. And you both may want to weigh in on the same question that we are talking about, the National Testing Agency, which has come under the radar because of the NEET-UG 2026 leak, not only NEET-UG 2026 leak, but also the controversy that had erupted in 2024 that all of you are very well aware of. Professor Rajiv Kumar, you have formally worked with the National Testing Agency. You repetitively keep writing articles in various newspapers on the insights, but here we would like to hear from you in the webinar on your insights about the National Testing Agency and why it is failing, and why have these tests historically failed when they came under other agencies also, including Medical Council of India. So please take us through that entire process and how you see the process of taking an examination of such a scale and why it is failing from an institutional perspective.
Okay, it's very. I want to describe only in few words. As such, admission is an academic process, completely academic task. But what we have seen, at least with NEET, the medical admission, which we know is the most high impact task, it has become commercialized. Not only by NTA, also by the same first degree stakeholders, that is the exam setters, both have made it commercialized. And I am very sad to say that examination question paper setter, I have also been examination question paper setter for many times, they have made it non-ethical. That in the simplest form, it is non-ethical commercialization of an academic task, and that is continuing for the years together. Only thing 2024, it was exposed to a larger scale. Then the issues were very different than what happened in 2026. But again, it's the same. What I'm seeing, there is a complete recurring patterns of leakage of questions. If you see 24, there was leakage of questions, there were reports. But how many were correct, we do not know. Ultimately, CBI submitted the closing report last week in the court. Same in 2026, we are listening a lot that, and most of the people who are being caught, they are basically question paper setters. That is most amazing. And another important task, that NTA is basically outsourcing every academic activity to outsource people, perhaps without checking their antecedents. And this is happening. How a person who is running a coaching at the same time can become a question paper setter and also a translator, and he is having access to complete papers. And this, as per reports, again, as per newspaper reports, because we have no authenticated data issued by NTA, that this person is working there since 2019. Not only that, he's making neat paper, he's making the science papers subject particular to chemistry in all the exam, JEE, NEET, CUT. I am very much concerned that how this person is continuing for so many years. Even there is standard operating protocol. The person should keep on changing. And most important protocol in question making is that one person should not have access to the complete question paper. I have seen the reports in the newspaper. For a single paper, there were 12 translators. 12 into 2. But first, they will translate from English to regional language, then regional language to English. That's okay, process okay. But then there are 24 translators plus question paper setters. The same paper has gone into so many hands, and all these hands, they have perhaps they have outsourced, NTA outsourced to a people. I don't know what the basis of their selection, but most of them are running coaching classes. Either they have the coaching or they're running the coaching classes. How this conflict of interest was not detected by NTA? I consider
Right.
this is please.
This is the right point at which we would like to take it forward. However, I think Mr. Agarwal's net is lagging. Uh, yeah, he's right here back. Professor Rajiv Kumar mentioned, Mr. Agarwal, that coaching classes are also, at a certain amount of fault. Dr. Rajiv Jayadevan is also saying that, and you are somebody, who is running the counseling and the coaching classes for these students as well. You also happen to have access to a huge network of like in the federation of coaching classes. So what would your sort of insight be on the fact that the coaching is commercialized, one, and number two is outsourcing without checking antecedents to probably to people who also have stakes in coaching classes, Mr. Agarwal?
See, first of all, we need to know why there is a need of coaching. See, why coaching comes into picture. If you see the school curriculum, just visit, say, first JE and advanced. At that level, you will not be able to even clear any level of those exams. So, coaching is a specialized thing which came into picture due to the entrance exams. Similarly, in NET, though the level is not as JE advanced, but the number of aspirants are almost twice the JE, and the examination is a high stake examination. It's very easy to blame. Now, why coaching centers are being blamed? See, if coaching was to leak the paper, then IIT advanced paper should have been leaked very easily, UPSC should have been leaked very easily, cat paper should have been leaked very easily. See, until unless your system is weak, this thing will not happen. And today, there is no dearth of greed and wrong people in any industry. So if someone comes out, why you're blaming coaching out here? First, blame even the parents who are buying this paper, and then the cancer, you can say, spreads like anything. And NIT has been in news since 24, though the leaks even happened before. I'll discuss the data today. So
I think we are experiencing a break in the link. Maitri, you're on mute.
yeah.
Uh, Sorry, Mr.
is it is
Agarwal,
it
are you back?
audible? Is it audible?
Yes, you were talking about some data.
Yeah. So I'll share the data and show you why NIT is a big problem. Now, before going to coaching, now understand, you just have 60,000 seats and 22 lakhs appearing and fighting for that seat. So if you see what is the probability of success, hardly any. Come to JE, the seats with NIITs all around, you will find lot of seats being available. So this is one major problem. Second is the number of attempts. A person, if you see the freshers who apply in NET is around 11 to 12 lakhs, and repeaters are 11 to 12 lakhs. There is no age limit. There is no attempt limit. JE main and advanced have 2 and 3. That is what main gives 3, advanced gives 2. Now, medical is a high stake because you get admission in private, it is 1 crore. So today, parents, what they are doing when a paper leaker comes, They say you pay 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 30 lakh, X amount, and you easily get a paper and a selection. Now, 24, 3 days or 5 days in total, I was in Supreme Court, heard each and everything about it, how the modus operandi was, why this NEET exam is getting compromised, what are the modus operandis that come, and nowhere coaching center was directly involved. It was the insider who came. 24 had lot of other modus operandi. 26 is seeing the real modus operandi come out when the people who are involved in paper setting are leaking it, as Professor Rajiv discussed. Now, coaching obviously wants to get the results, and when someone comes, how can you stop one or two? You are talking of Sikar, Nasik, Latur. Are you talking of entire India? If coaching was a problem, we would have been talking of entire India. And Sikar is the hotspot from 24. And you see, within these 3 years, it is giving unprecedented result. 24, Seeker had 7.5% result in terms of selection. All India average was round about 3%. Second, there were a couple of institute who had 13% result. Did government check, investigate, and find out? Like in India, 27,000 students were beating 3,75,000. How is that possible? That's impossible. But nothing was done. And again, we are seeing this 26 and sitting and discussing, and then passing the buck is very easy because coaching center is a commercial thing. They want to do this. Why don't you look inside yourself from where the things are coming? So that is the point one, that coaching centers, you have had the coaching been involved in randomly everywhere, then I would have justified your explanation. Now, in any industry, media, police, two or three take bribe, entire industry goes bad. No, it is the system which has to be fixed rather than a blame game. So that
So
is the
very
answer. Yeah.
very interesting points made both by Professor Rajiv Kumar and Mr. Agarwal. One is that Professor Rajiv Kumar said is that outsourcing without checking antecedents is one, but however, insiders in NTA themselves, having unprecedented access to the paper, one person having access to the whole paper is actually not the right way to go. Mr. Agarwal pointed out a couple of interesting data, and I would want to bring the point back to Bindu, where she can go ahead and ask next set of questions. I am personally interested in understanding more about the future, the computer-based testing. But Bindu, please take it forward.
Yeah. Thanks, Mithri. So two things I want to ask. Any of the panelists can take up this question. We have 22 lakhs students who are appearing for selection into NEET exam. We have half that number appearing into JEE for engineering courses. Uh, why aren't they so, is the answer then limiting the number of attempts to eradicate corruption? Or second point that Mr. Agarwal made, which again Maitri and me have been discussing this, as to how the syllabus, the school syllabus, 11th and 12th syllabus has been trimmed, or is now no longer the entire syllabus on which children are tested for JEE and NEET, which is where the coaching institutes are coming in. So how does this dynamic work? It could be Mr. Agarwal, Dr. Rajivan, Professor Rajivan, anyone, whoever feels wants to come in. Professor Rajiv, we'll start with you.
Should I take? Yeah. As far as number is concerned, once we have multi-session, please understand the difference. Single session exam and multi-session exam. Like JEE Advanced is single session. If it is a single session exam, it is very different than a multi-session exam.
So, JEE Advance only has 5% of the children who actually took the
Yes,
exam. Yeah.
I want to
We
make
are
it
talking about
single session,
the larger section. Yeah.
single session and multi-session. Like JEE Main, NEET, they are multi-session exam. NEET as of now is a single session. In with pen and paper, NEET is a single session exam. When it comes to CBT, it will become multi-session. Once it is a multi-session exam, number is 12 lakhs or 24 lakhs, it does not matter. Instead of 10 session in JEE, in NEET with 24 lakhs, there will be 20 sessions. This does not make any difference. Difference comes to a single session and multi-session. How the difference comes, that I will come to you. And also I will explain JEE Advanced, it's very little number, but it is single session, and it is whether it is CBT or PNP does not make a difference. Here comes the main process of normalization. When exam is multi-session in any form, then we have to do normalization. And normalization is a basically interpolation and statistical phenomena. And I am also an expert of statistics. There does not exist any statistical phenomena which can accurately normalize multi-session. And that is the crux of the problem. When you say JEE, we do normalization, we don't care much. Please understand this point I am making very strongly. When we do normalization, JEE means top 1 lakh student or 50,000 student do not care about their normalization, where do they stand. Because for them, 50,000, 1 lakh student of engineering, this normalization of JEE become only an eligible criteria. It is only yes or no. But when we apply this normalization to NEET for 24 lakh students, there, I am very sure there will be chaos, especially for top ranking students.
Yeah,
Which are
but because NEET is also a qualifying exam. NEET is also a qualifying exam. Unlike JEE, where you are giving percentile, NEET is qualifying exam. So,
NEET without
Mr. K.
qualifying.
Agarwal, if you could come in, you were talking about the syllabus, how the syllabus is not robust enough for a child to crack the NEET exam. Could you explain that a little further? Mr. Agarwal, the question is to you. You were talking
Yeah.
about the fact that the school syllabus, 11th and 12th syllabus, which is currently on what the questions are based, isn't enough for any child to crack the exam, and that is where the coaching institutes come in. Could you elaborate on that point a bit?
See, after COVID, they cut down 30% syllabus in CBSE and it was never restored. So, point is, we never went back to the original syllabus and we are teaching the truncated syllabus. Now, this truncated syllabus itself has lot of drawbacks. Second, entrance has both 11th and 12th. Whereas when a student appears for 12th board, you just ask only 12th syllabus. Third, there are topics which are not there in CBSE syllabus and they are in entrance syllabus. So that is another problem. Fourth is the level of the questions. School teachers are not equipped at that level to teach those syllabus and they also do not have the required time in their
Hmm.
school system, so there is no way they can fit in. And that is why the culture of dummy school came, that is why the culture of coaching centers came. And when the probability of success is so low, then there is no way a student can take chance. The exams become high stake. Today if you make 3 lakh seats in medical and number of attempts to 4, the problem will be solved to 80% extent. Now why? You see, today we are fighting for 60,000 seats. If you have 3 lakh seats, then imagine the people scoring 600 and above. Let me show you the data and
Yeah,
then
sure.
you will be surprised to see. So can you see the data? Let me share the screen. So where is the option we have for sharing the screen?
So you can read it
We
out
have
also
the option here.
if you are unable to share the screen, you can read it out.
No, no. If there is an option, I'll share. There is, I think, there is any option we have.
On the
So
left
Okay.
side.
Yeah.
there is an option to share the screen. If you're able to quickly figure it out, then you can share it. You can see
Okay. Yeah,
the tab
I
in the
got it.
bottom.
Present.
There is a mic, then there is a video camera,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
I
there is a
got it.
share.
I got it. I got it. So I hope you are able to see my screen now. Oh, sorry,
It's
not
not
this one. Just
reflecting yet. I can't see it.
okay. Okay, just I'll come back in the next time and I'll show you 1 minute. So I'll
But
explain about the. I'll,
yeah,
I'll,
but
I'll just
we are
come and
curious
explain.
about the data because figures
Yeah.
tell
So
us a
what
lot
was,
more.
yeah, see,
Do share.
why I'll tell you this analysis 23, like in 2022, 600 and above out of 72 were just 2000 odd students. Come 2023, that is where the leak started. 29,000 in 1 year, you cannot have a spike of 27,000 above
Yeah.
600. Come to 24, that is the most interesting year where I did a thorough analysis of the entire net. Above 600, there were 81,000, 52,000 spike, unprecedented. And the interesting thing, the spike was only above 550. When you go lower down 200 and this, NTA said that paper was easy. If the paper was easy, the spike should have been uniform.
Correct,
The
correct.
spike was non-uniform. Seeker and few states in Rajasthan and few places I can say had unprecedented results except other ways. So that pattern definitely suggests that some portion of Maharashtra, Rajasthan, and Haryana definitely had some access to the paper in some form or the other. And the modus operandi now it seems very clear. More than the leak, the questions were out to them in some form and might have been put in the sample paper, and
Yeah.
that is how the system went. Now why this becomes more of a stake in terms of that children flog those places from where results come. So Seeker became a hub that it produces medical results. Just in 1 year, it was all over the country. Otherwise, 27,000 cannot produce twice the rate of quota. So the syllabus, the preparation, the professionalism, the test series, all of this make up these entrance exams. They are not selection exam, they are rejection exam. In 20 to 4 lakhs, you just select 1 lakh 20,000. The remaining 21 lakh have to be eliminated. And this is the reason that this exam becomes all the more high stake, with 1 crore fees for private exams and school not able to support children. What option do parents have? And here
Absolutely.
they have
Absolutely.
to go, they are forced to go. And second, who has made the schools redundant? I'll tell you. 1 minute, I'm just going off. CUET exam, the board exam weightage is gone. Now moment the board exam weightage is gone, why will the student go to school even for CUET? And in this NET, there was a data how scamsters, even I have a recording here how the scamsters operate. They're calling a student, one girl from Gujarat, her father has a nursing home, sends her to take the exam at Belgavi. She scores 705 out of 720, and when the board result comes she flunks, and even in compartment she flunked. So definitely this system had lot of compromises, though NTA plugged that biometric thing and the impersonation was gone, which was massive in 2024 with lot of arrest. So impersonation was there. There was in on record in Supreme Court that the OMR sheet after 5:30 till 3 hours they used to just be lying in the examination center and anybody could have tampered with it. Again you see the loophole in the system. Now two simple solutions I can give. One, CBT is not going to work. Why it is not going to work, I can tell you. There are n number of reasons. 20 days it will take to complete this exam. Second, normalization is a flawed concept. Even in JE, it is a flawed concept. I am also a statistician and done my course from IIT Madras. I'll tell you why the problem. Every year you will find 10 to 12 questions dropping. So if a student gets stuck in couple of them, can normalization take care of that? No, it only talks of toughness, the time span. It will never talk how much time a child wasted with no options being there. Second, the dark web. When you get something access in online, it's very difficult to identify the leak. Today's servers are being hacked, you will see student just scrolling the mouse and doing nothing. It is very difficult to identify the leak. UGC net was out on dark web, it got because of the Telegram channel. Otherwise there are many leaks which go unidentified. Now come to rural system. You don't have even centers. This year CUET, I had to get a story published through NDTV. They awarded the center 300 to 1500 kilometer away from the city. Like from Delhi, you go to Jaipur. Why? They did not have the required number of computer centers in Delhi. And not only that, the child had 11th May exam, 13th May exam, and then 30th May. So you see, online, there is lot of problem. Go to the centers, they are in pathetic state. And here medical council has to agree. So my solution, if you see here 2 to 3 minutes, the leak has been identified and the major reason is paper setter. So what I propose as a foolproof leak, and hardly anybody can leak, you select 4 teachers for each paper setting, and even the topics can be divided like chemistry as physical, organic, inorganic. Even in physics you will have mechanics, electrostatics, and so on, and even in maths, calculus, algebra. Now once the admit card center everything is done, now main thing is paper setting. It will take hardly 3 days because you have 45 questions in each section, four experts sitting. You can get all the material at a place, quarantine them. Quarantine them means 3 days they will be inside without internet and mobile. And now they are making the question, type is typing. Nobody has any access to outside world just for 3 days. 45 questions, if four people are taking, it will take 1 day to make, 1 day to do expert reading. Third day, with today technology being there, you can use all the books, AIs, everything, and create beautiful questions and use human intervention. Fourth day, the DG NTA comes. He mails the encrypted paper to all the centers, and there are two printers installed. 2 o'clock is the time of the paper. Just 12 o'clock, let children come in. And moment the children come in, you start your printing with rehearsal being done 1 day before. 12 o'clock, you start printing. On an average, I have identified 500, 600 se zyada. There are no children in a center. So what you do now? Children biometric that can be done inside within 2 hours. You can easily print and give it to the children. And even if 1% the paper gets leaked while mailing, my child has come inside. Whom will you give that paper?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
within 4 to 5 days, your exam can be conducted. They hold the admit card unnecessarily for last day. I am saying get the forms filled, give the admit card, give the examination center. Now begin your process. And the people involved in this should be academician in NTA, UPSC, IITians, so that they know the know-how of paper making. And there are so many experts. Knit paper is a very simple paper. It is not like advanced. And within 3 days, you can make a full proof paper. Now, paper setters are inside. Even budget, we do that. For big boss, they stay for months. Here, you give them all facilities guarded by CISF. And once the paper is mailed, the exam is done, OMR sealed in bags like ballot papers and then taken. How will you leak the paper? Just tell me, is there any way out? And it is doable. Now transportation is such a big cost and headache. Now printing is a big cost and headache, and both have human intervention, the point of leak. So the paper setter here, it's like getting inside a flight and the doors closed after security check-in. You can come out only after landing.
Yeah.
So just because the paper is there, you're out. How will the paper get leaked? And in
Yeah.
India,
So we were, in fact, Maitri and me, so I'd like to come in. Maitri and me have been talking about the 2024 leak when the entire rot kind of spilled over and spilled out. Dr. Rajivan, I'd like to bring you back. Uh, why does this repeated kind of puncturing of the system, which is happening, of an examination system that happens, what do you do to restore faith? Because if my doctors are coming in like this, if my nurses are coming in like this, or if my paramedic is coming in like this, how do I believe the quality that is being brought into the healthcare system? Because
That's a
besides the exam, there is also the life saving aspect of healthcare. So where does that faith get restored?
These are good questions. So let me answer those. One is you asked about the quality of, let's say, doctors being produced. Now that happens possibly at three levels. First is when you admit somebody to a medical college, um, you have to select people who are willing to serve and who find satisfaction at relieving somebody else's discomfort. That is not the same as scoring very high marks on in physics or algebra. The two may not overlap. A person who is compassionate and who can communicate, who is empathetic, that who understands somebody's struggle. I know it's a young age, but still you can spot
Empathy.
students who are empathetic. This is how it is done in many developed nations. You don't just run a test and say who's eligible to
Absolutely.
walk into a medical
Absolutely.
college. You got to find out what the aptitude of this child is. Let's say a teenager, what projects this person is involved in spontaneously, what kind of report is there from the school about this person's character, about the honesty. Has the person got points about honesty? Things like that. I know that one can argue that all of these can be corrupted from by bribing some school official, but still, What I see missing is we are simply basing the entry point on 180 questions that
Yeah.
can be taken in 180 minutes. I can't agree with that. But do I have an alternative right now? I don't. But earlier I heard the point being mentioned that students are neglecting regular classes. They are, you know, they're not caring about their board exams or their board subjects because they're focused on these exams. So that's level number one. The second level is once you enter a medical college, not all medical colleges in India have the same standard. There are centers of excellence that rival the best in the world, and then there are centers that are not. So people who go through these systems will naturally have the limitations of training that are part of the college. It is true that some very brilliant and driven students will overcome the obstacles and still come out as good doctors. I've seen that. But for the most part, if you go to an inferior center, chances are you will not be as good as as good a doctor you could have become had it been a center of excellence. The third is what kind of career path are you choosing? What kind of mentors are you having? Who are the people you're moving with? Are you moving with people who are greedy, people who are showing off their flashy cars, encouraging you to take bribes, things like that? So those are three phases that I can identify. My career is about 40 years now, so I can identify all these three different phases. One is the entry point. You got to pick people who are eligible to enter. Second, you got to normalize or standardize the education process, which
Absolutely.
I don't see happening. And third is after they become a doctor, they it's not like you become a doctor and then learning stops. You have to you have to move with good people, polish your values, correct your mistakes, do audits, be humble, update your knowledge. So how many people are doing that? So all of these will answer your first question: can I trust the doctor that is looking after me when I'm ill? So there's a lot of work to be done, but I believe this panel discussion is focusing primarily on that
Yeah, true. True,
entry
true,
gate knowledge.
true. So I'll also bring in Professor Rajiv Kumar.
Yeah.
Before the webinar started, we were talking about why NEET, computerized NEET will fail. And Maitri and me were requesting you to explain your points or your thoughts on this.
Okay,
So,
before
yeah,
taking to CBT, going to fail, that is not my point. Before that,
hmm,
I just want to compare 20 years of Indian examination.
sure, sure.
You see, why NEET is failing, why any exam conducted by NTA is failing, that we have to understand the basic of this. And I will take the example of IT's exam. Even I'm talking about 2000, when this RTI Act came, transparency came, till that time there was no issue with any exam. Once Transparency Act came, because of transparency, so many revelations came into picture. I'm talking about IT 2006 to 2015, before the existence, before the emergence of NTA. During that time, I was the sole person to disclose lot of anomalies, lot of irregularity in IT system. But we worked very hard, we worked tenaciously, we worked and within 10 years, we make the SOP. Most important thing in any system of large scale is the standard operating system, procedures. And that we define at macro level, not just at the course level, abstract level. In IIT system, we define all standard operating procedure at macro level, and which all are being used in the country at all for all MCQ based exam, including NIT has also used that. But that was one part of that. They are working fine. What IIT from there onward did, they are following that SOP. Whomsoever is the in charge, whomsoever is the person. Once you follow the SOP, there is no subjectivity. It's all is objectivity. IT gained that, and most important difference between IIT and NTA is that NTA everything is outsourced. IT does not outsource anything. Whatever things are outsourced in IT take a complete control and command. Like IT also doing this CBT based, they are also doing with the same vendor, which is I think TCS in both case NTA and IT, but they still have a complete control. Their question paper setters are not outsourced; they are in house. For every center, when the exam is conducted, they send their own team to supervise instead of NTA, where they are sending the local people to supervise. That's the main difference. One has to accept the ownership which NTA does not have. And that is a major crux. Whether you can do the exam in pen and paper model, You do the exam in CBT model, but main thing is that you have to take a control, that you have to understand the ownership and accountability, which NTA does not hold. NTA has outsourced all their accountability, all their critical tasks to outsource people without any checking up their antecedent and precedent. What they are doing, they are not concerned. They are running the coaching, they are not concerned. In IT, when we do this, we check all these things because they are in-house people. They are all
But
things about.
doesn't NTA have a review system, sir? I mean, it cannot be running arbitrarily without having just
Yeah.
handed it
No,
over to a
yes,
third
yes.
person and
Yeah.
asking them to run. It's
Yeah,
a
that's
huge
very
institution.
important point. Yeah, that is important. For every academic task, even I have been, we have to sign it, a declaration of no conflict of interest. But recent disclosure shows the person is engaged continuously with the coaching and still he is engaged in the examination. Then what the meaning of this type of declaration? And that's the main thing. I said commercialization, one thing,
So
and second thing,
interestingly,
non-ethical.
So
Yes,
interestingly,
please.
I would like to come in here and ask a question about the National Testing Agency. Now we know from multiple officials in the National Testing Agency that they had sent proposals to the Ministry of Education in
Mhm.
order to, give them permission to conduct a computerized based testing, right? So the officials in the NTA kept saying that the ministry did not approve for a CBT in 2024. What I would like to know is that we also know that NTA has 600 CBT centers which it uses for QET and it uses them for the JEE main exams.
Correct.
So we were wondering if those 600 CBT centers could be put to use for NEET in the next year, because or has the Minister of Education come under pressure and said that we will conduct CBT next year? Because Mr. Agarwal is pointing to another radical system which can work in a pen and paper format. So, if we were to look at a pen and paper format reasoning that Mr. Agarwal gave, how we should do it in a novel way versus 600 centers of NTA's CBT in order to conduct NEET, then first I would like Professor Rajiv Kumar to weigh in for a bit, and then each panelist to weigh in on just pen and paper versus CBT. What do you think practically works or not, in a very simple way, in a very simple language,
Okay.
if you can explain?
Okay. As I was talking earlier, my answer remain incomplete: eligibility and entrance exam. As far as I said, the CBT, it does not matter whether you contain CBT or PNP. It matters single session or multiple session. If examining single session in any mode of things, there is no need to normalize. And that's the fundamental basis of NEET. Why NEET is not converted to CBT, that they don't want to normalize, because normalize has the inherent flaw. And NEET being the highest stake exam, as repeatedly everyone saying, is the highest stake exam, not only 60,000 seats, what Mr. Agwal has said. The seats on the top few hundred seats, that matters. A few hundred seats in AIMS and JIPMER, that matters the most. And that's why when the exam 2024 was cancelled, not because of other ranks, it was cancelled because there were a lot of people selected in the top around 700 marks. Then main thing matters, this normalization can be applicable for eligibility or ranking. In JEE, we conduct this do normalization, but it does not matter to the higher ranks because there is JEE Advanced. And JEE Advanced does not use the normalization. That's the one difference for which they could not take the decision in NEET. The only way to possible, there are many possible ways, but what I want for the higher ranks, which matters a lot to the students, few hundred ranks, few hundred, same in IT. Their top ranks, I say few thousands or few hundred, that matters a lot. For that, there should be no normalization. Whatever scheme you use, CBT or PNP. For the top rank, there should be no normalization. It should be direct raw score. And that's why IT Advanced Direct Rice Code, CB NEET, they had taken even they had taken the decision panic mode. I have no doubt to say that. In the manic mode, they taken the difference. But how to normalize, especially for the top rank, they don't have any formula. Also for lower ranks, it does not matter whether I get this school or this school. That does not matter that much for the top rank. This is one restriction, whatever mode you are using. What Agarwal
So,
said that CBT. Yeah, please
Doctor,
continue.
Dr. Jaidevan, is the solution then to increase seats or revamp the medical infrastructure as a whole, because normalization is a problem? So few people are fighting for a lot of seats in JIPMER and AIMS. I guess, Dr. Jaidevan, this is the right point for you to come in and comment a bit about the medical infrastructure as a whole in India, and why this is contributing to, it being such a high stakes exam. IITs, there are enough seats, people are getting the engineering college of their choice, and it's not happening in medical colleges for years together.
Yes, regarding your question is about the quality of medical education after the students get into the college. I understand that's your question. Now that's a whole different topic altogether. But I'll say this, that there's a lot of heterogeneity, which means inequality in the infrastructure, staffing, protocols, work ethic, and oversight of medical institutions in India. You mentioned a few centers of excellence. There are several other centers of excellence in India. So a student who secures a top rank will naturally want to train in one of these centers because they want to further their career and get possibly the best education possible. But let's look at the other institutes that are not so high quality, and those are the centers that require better staffing. Some of these medical colleges don't have patients. There are media reports of fake patients being brought in at the time of inspection. All of this is in public domain, and that's a shame on the medical profession, medical education field completely. You are encouraging your own doctors to fake a patient report, and how can that even be possible? I was appalled when I heard the first report of fake faculty being brought in and then fake patients being brought in just to pass the inspection. So infrastructure needs to be improved. Audits have to take place. Somebody has to be held accountable for maintaining the quality of these institutes. The second point is about the students themselves. I think we're forgetting a little bit about these teenagers. Most of them are teenagers. The trouble that they go through. For one thing, I don't know what I wanted to do when I was 17. It's very difficult at that age as to what you're built for. So at an age of say 13 to 17, you're pushed into a high pressure performance system where you are in a coaching center or you take evening classes. You get up at 4 in the morning. You sit on the back of a scooter and you go to some coaching center. There's a lot. You're taking a lot out of the student's life, uh, promising an uncertain future. So I think students need to be better aware that this is not 1970 anymore. There are better careers or more feasible careers around more than medicine and engineering. That's the first point I want to say. And whenever parents bring their students to me as their doctor to give them some counseling, I tell them this: look, if being a doctor makes you happy, if research or if making somebody who's ill if you make them feel better, if that makes you, if that drives you, if that gives you a sense of satisfaction and happiness, go for it. But if you don't like all this biology and that, because it's a very technically demanding curriculum. I forgot to mention that it's not just enough to get into the medical college. The subjects and the textbooks you read in MBBS are extraordinarily tough. Whether they're required or not is a different question. But the material you're required to master before you pass the exam is very tough. So if you are a student who's not really geared for such a curriculum, you're going to fail. And when you fail in your class, you're going to be left behind, and that's taken a toll on a large number of students. So I would like our parents to also understand that this is 2026. Your child, there are so many other careers. There are so many careers available now. You don't necessarily have to put your child through a high pressure system with an uncertain future, given all the issues that are going on. So maybe keep a broader outlook is my advice.
That's a very interesting point, Dr. Jayadevan, which you've made. a very humane point at that. And I'd like to bring in Mr. Agarwal, which is, we have to, for the students who are going to take the June 21st exam, though we wish them all the very best for their exam, we'd also like for whoever is watching this, is there, you are also a career counselor. So we'd like to understand, besides MBBS, in today's day and age, what are the other careers that children can opt for? Can just a heads up, not an elaborate answer, but just a heads up.
Yes. Before answering, I would like one point to be made. NTA has entire data from where the students appear, from which belt they come, and you will find there is lot a rural belt. Now here the government needs to step in with schools right from class 8. Not only the children needs to be counseled, it's the parents who are not educated, who do not know things beyond IIT and medical, and who get into this right after 10. They have heard only about science, so they start speaking only about science and nothing else. And the expectation is so high from them that I have
Yes,
seen even farmers putting their lands, everything on stake just for this medical exam, going
yes,
to quota, telling them, beta, lot ke mat aana. A person 16, 17 doesn't take the pressure or not able to, they commit suicide also.
yes,
So you see, UPSC also has this high stake, but the person is matured. They are able to move on. Here, they keep repeating and they get frustrated. And with this paper leaks, the system is now breaking them down. So my first message to the present who are taking the NEET: first, lock yourself in a room, no mobile, no social media influencers. For their TRP, they would use this 1 month also. Sit inside a room, leave this mobile, and just think this is prelims which happened and this is means you are taking. So you are getting a second chance like in JE. Take that paper leak out of it. Don't think it as a paper leak. This is a chance to improve. 1 month, bang on 10 to 12 hours every day. Who knows, you might score well. Now, no board exams, nothing to, get distracted. Give all you have and show that you are real medical warriors at this age. You went down, but you stood up again and came back like anything. And then think this is not the end of the world. Psychology is a very beautiful option today. If all medicine, we need good psychologists, career counselors, we need dietitians, we need pharmacists. So it's not that MBBS everybody is doing good. Ayush is doing, homeopathic is doing. Then you go to zoology, become a COVID virologists were doing a superb job. Then biotechnology is there. So if everybody becomes doctor, how others would do? Today testing is a big job. Become a yoga trainer. Today yoga is such a fantastic thing. People, they use it even part time and earn so well. And find what your strength and interest is and do that. Not because Sharma ji ki beti got into the medical seat, I have to get, or the parents are pushing me. And if you are a good speaker, become a radio jockey, event management, use your strength. You can do wonders. Today, news anchors, the media people, the radio jockeys are doing wonderful job. If you're good at drawing, show your creativity. Music, you can do many other things. Advertisement field is there. So today you can be a big writer. So with AI coming in, so you can use your talent. Breaking head in medicine, you have to be prepared. It is just going inside, but after that the
right.
life of doctor is tough. It is
Is tough.
not
Yeah,
easy.
absolutely.
You are just getting into it. So here the schools need to tell them, think beyond IT. Medical, law is an option, management is an option, journalism, and number of things, but expose the children and the rural background. That is where the NIT problem is. Now I'll just share the data to open
Sure.
your eyes to some extent, which I made it. And let me present the data here. Okay, slides and PDFs. Okay. Okay, just a minute. Yes, let me share my screen. So, are you able to see the data?
Not yet, Mr. Agarwal.
Okay, not yet. Okay. Now, can you see my screen?
We are not able to see the
Um,
data now.
Sir, it's not
No.
reflecting. I can't see anything being shared.
Maitre, would you
But
like
I
to
think
ask the Maitre, would you like to ask the concluding question because we are running out of
Okay.
time. We have,
Okay. Okay.
I
Mr.
think,
So
Agarwal,
three
just
minutes.
I'll brief up very shortly now.
Yeah.
Now, why the data was important was, as they were saying, it's the 650 plus where 25,000 is there, and why in Supreme Court Mr. Chandrachud had to tell to Mr. Tushar Mehta when he commented that it is 10, 5, 20 lakhs. Then he said, no, Mr. Mehta, just see the file which CBI has given. It is 75 lakhs, which a parent has given to scamster, and no one will give this for just 1 hour before to get a paper, as government was saying the paper leaked that day. So high stakes are there.
Yes.
So what we need to today do here is, first, why the paper leak happened, we all know. So we need to close the leakages, and so that no outsider enters. And this is only option of offline. We can have prelims main. We can create multiple sets so that no one set comes. You create 20 sets and take 9 from each. Third, foolproof isolation one. Second, you definitely have to increase the seats so that your child doesn't go out Ukraine, Russia, and your economy also gets earning because your money is going out. Third, you
so
have to reduce the number of attempts and the age limit. A person becoming doctor at 50 is eating up the seat of a 17-year-old. And then NTA was made only for online exams, not for offline exams. You have forced NTA to take offline exams, and that is this result which is happening. NTA was never an offline exam. And in NTA, you have to definitely put more academicians who know the know-hows of paper making and can do it in a much better way. In online, NTA doesn't face this problem. They face this when it comes to offline. That is why CUET, they have been alternately moving online, offline, and this year again online. So the problems,
so
solutions, everything is in before you. Yes.
Mr. Agarwal,
Maitre,
you've beautifully summed up the entire root cause of the problem. So I would consider that your closing remarks, Mr. Agarwal, and I would like to come to first Professor Rajiv Kumar and then Dr. Rajiv Jayadevan to respectively give their closing remarks. I just have one point to make. If you can include the topic of the webinar in that, should NTA be dismantled or revamped? But we've heard a lot about that now. But your closing remarks, Professor Rajiv Kumar, should NTA be dismantled or revamped?
I will say it should not be dismantled. Whatever solutions we are talking about, so many people are giving this option, that option. Most important thing for highly competitive exam is fairness. Single exam is the only forum which can bring the fairness. I understand 10 plus 2 exam, all results will be counted, but that cannot bring fairness. The one and foremost thing to bring fairness, there should be single exam. When there's single exam, it's better to have a single exam authority. That is NTA. NTA was made to conduct single exam. And again, I see no difference whether you conduct exam through PNP or through CBT. It's only printing up question paper. Printing up question paper is not making any mistake. Problem comes from the outsourcing to outsiders. Main problem is to outsource academic activity to outsource. That is the problem. Therefore, NTS should be revamped. NTS should learn from IIT. And another problem with medical profession is too conservative. Whatever number of seats we were having 20 years back, there's not much increase in the seats of IIMs or JIPME. You see IIT, 20 years back, there were hardly 5,000 seats. Now there are 20, 30,000 seats in IIT. And as we are moving into AI session, most of the IITs are teaching AI to as many students as they want. That's why one thing, one has to be flexible, one has to move with technology, one has to move with trends. And for single authority, single exam, we need the authority which should be completely revamped, no outsourcing of any critical activities to others. With this, I will conclude. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your wonderful remarks, Dr. Jayadevan. Please offer your closing remarks.
Yes, I'll say this to the students who are appearing for the exam and others who are considering the medical profession and other career options. I'll tell you this: in 2026, It's no longer your subject knowledge that makes you successful in whatever career you're choosing. You got to learn to communicate well. You got to be a good listener. You got to pause, hear the other person, try to understand somebody else's perspective. And that's called empathy, and Bindu mentioned that as well. And you got to be very good with computers and master AI very well, because it's catching up. It's going to affect every field that we work in the future. So it's no longer a case of knowing your textbook by heart. It will not get you anywhere. And take care of your mental health and take care of your physical health, because those are the things that will help you in your career, because you will go through tough phases in life. MBBS and postgraduate is no joke. It's pretty grueling. And your career as a doctor also, that there are so many risks that come along, and you need a very strong body and a very strong mind to go with it. So just like was said earlier, cut out all the noise. Don't listen to stuff that is said on social media. It just distracts you. Right? Just stay focused, and you'll do very well regardless of what career you choose. But you invest in all of these skills, and including, last but not the least, you should be very good at managing your finances from a very early age. You don't wait until 50 to learn finance management. So those are some parting advices. Those are some advice, some tips for you from a 40-year-old career.
I think those tips work very well for us too, don't they, Mathuri?
They
Thank you.
definitely do. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you
So
so much
then,
for participating in this webinar, and I'm sure everybody who logged in or everybody who will see the recording will go back richer for information. And thank you so much for your collective knowledge, Professor Rajiv Kumar, Keshav Agarwalji, and Dr. Rajiv Jayadevan, and my co-moderator Bindu.
thank you.
Together we've put up a great show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.